Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about something that's running your life right now, even though you can't see it. Your body's silent chemical command center, the endocrine system. I mean, this is the invisible architect behind your energy, your mood, even how you grow. And it does it all without you even realizing it. I mean, have you ever really thought about it? What is it that tells you, hey, it's time to go to sleep, or that you're hungry? What about that crazy growth spurt you had when you were a teenager? It's not magic, right? Well, it turns out it's all thanks to this hidden, super powerful system of glands that are just constantly sending out these little chemical memos every single second. And yeah, you guessed it, that's the endocrine system. The best way to think about it is like your body's internal Wi-Fi. You know, your nervous system is like the hardwired Ethernet cable. It's lightning fast, direct signals. But the endocrine system, it's broadcasting chemical messages through your bloodstream, kind of like a radio signal, controlling all these huge functions slowly and steadily from way across the body. So what are these chemical messages? We call them hormones, and they are, without a doubt, the key to this entire operation. They just cruise through your blood until they find their target, and then they tell that specific organ or tissue exactly what to do. Now, they're not as fast as a nerve impulse for sure, but don't let that fool you. Their effects can be super powerful and last for a really, really long time. All right, so let's get into the good stuff. It's time to meet the key players in this whole setup, the A-team, if you will. We're going to take a tour of your body's biggest hormone factories, and we're starting right at the top inside the main control center, your brain. First up, we have the hypothalamus. You can think of this as the CEO of the entire endocrine company. Seriously, it's constantly monitoring all the internal data, like what's our body temperature, how are our energy levels, are we hydrated, and then it makes these high-level executive decisions. It's really the ultimate bridge between your conscious brain and your automated hormone system. So, the CEO doesn't do all the work itself, right? Nope. The hypothalamus gives its orders directly to its number 2, the pituitary gland. This little guy is the master manager. It takes the CEO's big ideas and turns them into actual instructions, sending out specific memos like thyroid-stimulating hormone to the other glands down the chain of command, telling them, okay, time to get to work. And following those orders, we travel down into the neck, and that's where we find the thyroid gland. This thing is kind of like your body's thermostat and its engine, all rolled into one. The hormones it pumps out control your metabolism. That's just a fancy word for how fast your cells are burning energy, which is what keeps you warm and feeling, energized. Okay, now hidden right behind the thyroid are these 4 tiny but super important glands. These are the parathyroids, and they are total specialists. They have one single critical job: manage the calcium levels in your blood. And listen to this. Without the right amount of calcium, your nerves literally couldn't fire and your muscles couldn't contract. So yeah, they are absolutely vital. All right, moving down the body, perched like little hats on top of your kidneys, you've got the adrenal glands. These are your body's emergency first responders. The second you're in a fight or flight situation, bam, they flood your system with adrenaline. That's what gives you that instant jolt of energy and sharp focus you need to deal with whatever's happening. Now, the pancreas, this organ is a master of balance, especially when it comes to your energy. It's got these 2 opposite hormones, insulin and glucagon, and it uses them like a perfect seesaw. So after you eat, insulin comes out and helps store all that sugar from your food. Then, a few hours later, when your sugar is low, glucagon comes out and releases it back. It's this beautiful, constant dance to keep your energy levels stable all day long. Way deep in the center of your brain, there's a tiny little gland called the pineal gland, and its job is to be your body's internal clock. It's really cool, actually. As it starts to get dark outside, it senses the change in light and starts producing melatonin. That's the hormone that basically sends a message to every single cell in your body saying, all right, everyone, show's over, time to wind down and get ready for sleep. Okay, let's talk about the thymus. It's located in your chest, and it does most of its heavy lifting when you're a kid. You can think of it like a boot camp or a training academy for your immune system. It produces hormones that literally train your T cells, a special kind of white blood cell, how to spot the bad guys and take them out. It's basically programming your body's defense software for the rest of your life. And that brings us to our final stop on the tour, the gonads. These are the reproduction specialists. For males, the testes produce testosterone, and for females, the ovaries make estrogen and progesterone. These are the hormones that kick off all the changes during puberty and then go on to manage the whole reproductive system. So that was the grand tour of all the hormone factories. Pretty cool, right? But that brings up a big question. How does a chemical message made in, say, your neck find its way to the exact cells it needs to talk to? Let's trace the journey of a hormone.
It's an amazingly precise system. The gland releases the hormone into the bloodstream and it just floats around everywhere. It's like sending a letter without a zip code. But here's the magic. It ignores billions and billions of cells because it's looking for one specific thing, a special receptor on the surface of its target cell. It's like a key floating through your body, and it'll only work on the one single lock it was designed for. And once that key fits the lock, boom, it triggers a very specific response.
Now, this whole system, the entire thing, is built on this idea of perfect balance. The scientific term is homeostasis. But what happens when that balance gets thrown off? What happens when the chemical messages get scrambled? Well, when that delicate balance is off, if you have too much of a hormone or too little, that's when you can run into problems. And these are things you've probably heard of. Diabetes, for example, is a classic issue with the hormone insulin. Thyroid disorders happen when that metabolism regulator we talked about goes haywire. It's just a really powerful reminder of how incredibly precise the system needs to be 24/7. Okay, so let's zoom out for a second and look at the big picture here. We've talked about all these different parts, but why does it all matter so much? Why is this great balancing act so fundamental to, well, being alive? This is really the bottom line. From the moment you started growing as a kid, to how much energy you have right this second, to how your body reacts when you're stressed out, all of that is the endocrine system. It's this silent, tireless manager working behind the scenes 24/7 just to keep your body in balance and help you deal with, well, everything life throws at you. So think about it. Maybe it's cortisol that's helping you focus on this right now. Or maybe it's insulin that's processing the lunch you just ate. Or maybe it's melatonin slowly starting to tell your body it's almost time for bed. Your hormones are always working, which makes you wonder, doesn't it? Which one of these chemical messengers is running your life in this exact moment?